Trends. Some improve our lives, others drain our wallets or our self worth. Let's talk about the weird love hate relationship we have with them. What's up, everyone? I'm Dominic, aka Philly Swiss. Welcome to the Buckle Up podcast, where we reflect, unlearn, and navigate the chaos of adulting one bumpy detour at a time. Buckle up because life comes with detours, not directions. If you're used to my usual YouTube videos, you know I keep things short and focused. The podcast, however, is where I can be a little chattier and let thoughts breathe. Because this format gives me the space to go deeper, not just in terms of info, but in terms of life, whether it's money, wellness, beauty, or just figuring things out. Here, we can unpack all things lifestyle finance. So, if you're into honest conversations with a side of reflection and a sprinkle of sass, give this video a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and let me know in the comments what trend you regret and one you love. Because we're diving into the topic of trends being both bad and good. Let's get into it. Trends are everywhere: what we wear, what we eat, how we budget or not budget, and even how we rest. And while some make life easier, others just pile on the pressure. It's not new that trends come and go. When it starts, then you start feeling the pressure to join in, to keep up, or that you'll miss out. Yes, even I get that sometimes. Not for everything, but especially if there's a new Star Path on Disney Dreamlight Valley, or after watching the live action adaptation of Avatar The Last Airbender or One Piece, and there was just so much I wanted to share. Not to mention when Lego released the new Harry Potter sets and the Twilight Cullen house. Like, have you not seen those videos yet? I'm not perfect, but I have improved in other spending areas for the last how many years, like with makeup and skincare, for example. In my last video, I mentioned the vloggers I used to follow when I was still in high school who had so much makeup and were either also in high school or in uni. It became aspirational that I would also have such a collection. The moment I moved out of my parents' home for uni, that was it. I was on a fixed allowance that there was no way I could squander the money on non essentials. Then I started working and I could build up my collection because I could decide where the money I earned would go. Then the Korean skincare routine craze started, and thankfully, it wasn't readily available in Switzerland. So I would stock up whenever I went home to the Philippines. The good thing is that even if I got that hit of dopamine from shopping, I actually used what I bought until I ran out of product. The problem for me was during the pandemic when travel was restricted and I couldn't stock up without having to pay more now that those products were made available in Switzerland. Even when things opened up, flights were too expensive and we would have needed to pay for sneakers to be left at a dog hotel while we were away. When we checked what it would cost us at that time, it would have amounted to about a month's salary. If I'm not mistaken, that's roughly what you'll be paying for taxes here. I got lucky with gifts from brands that I rarely needed to replenish my stock as often. But campaigns end, and eventually I made changes in my routines and took stock of what was worth the spend and what is a nice to have, but I can forego. For example, I have eyeshadow palettes that I only use maybe two or three shades from, or because I don't go out at night frequently, or dress up to the nines because I'm coming from work where I don't wear loud makeup to the point that it feels moot to have all these options on hand. I also mentioned in my last video that I have one palette that covers my needs for the festival season, and that's exactly it. I only need one to fulfill that need, but not multiple palettes. The rest are appropriate for work, and I'm good. I'm still up for trying new products, but I only do it if I've run out of that product and if it's skincare. I need to patch test first. I go to Sephora or if the brand has its own boutique to try the products, to decide whether or not to buy them. If the skincare product isn't giving my skin a bad reaction, then I can get it. I usually ask for help from the staff when it comes to makeup, just to make sure I'm getting the right color or shade for my skin tone. If you've been following me for a while, you might have noticed a couple of Fenty Beauty or Rare Beauty makeup, a Givenchy face powder, or my La Roche-Posay skincare set. The makeup products sitting on my vanity are predominantly from the prestige category and less than a handful from the luxury and drugstore categories. My skincare, La Roche-Posay and Avène, sit between the drugstore and prestige categories. They're classified as dermocosmetic or pharmacy skincare brands. Now, I've been taking into account the prices of these products. The typical price range for drugstore makeup brands could start from 8.95 francs to 24.95 francs. For prestige brands like Fenty or Rare Beauty, product price range starts at 9.90 francs to 52.90 francs. As for luxury brands like Givenchy, product range starts at 29.90 francs to 86 francs. Depending on what I need and which brand I already know works best on my skin, according to what I do, I start to get picky. I ask myself questions like, was it really that good that nothing compares to it? Or is there another brand that can do better in situations, for example, like where the room I'm in is super dry and hot? There's a lot of thinking involved now because I know how much I would spend even though I can afford it. I would still be cautious. What was great during this period was that there were a lot of YouTubers that talked about skincare brands, or even better, someone like Michelle on Lab Muffin Beauty Science who would clarify what the ingredients do and now also debunking TikTok trends in the beauty space. Now, I did say that trends are bad but also good. For the most part, I think they're bad when the perception is to buy a specific product now without thinking if the cost is worth the value it gives, or without testing it first to be sure that it doesn't cause skin irritation, or if it's makeup. It suits your skin tone, maybe, or knowing you have a whole drawer of lipsticks with either the same or similar shades that you haven't used up yet. Stop, calm down, and think. A trend that I think is good was the Korean skincare routine hype. Not because of the products that were launched, but teaching people to develop self care habits and hopefully not going overboard. The 10-step skincare routine was a lot, and it does help to check with your dermatologist what your skin really needs. My skin changed drastically from high school to now in my adulthood. The older I get, the more products I use. Also, depending on the season, I'd end up switching products over the winter months as it gets drier and my skin feels parched. I went from having a collection to prioritizing what I need and what I can or willing to spend. If you're not self aware, you might confuse someone else's goals for your own. If you're aspiring to have what the influencer you're following has, remember that their situation in life could be different to yours. The products they showcase could be gifted by the brand or it was bought for them. Depending on the number of products they receive, did they have enough time to test them properly or did they already promote another product the following day? Part of being a smart shopper is not just knowing more about the product itself, but also where the information is coming from. If this episode hit home, let me know in the comments and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with someone else who's still figuring it out too. Thanks for riding along. See you next week on the Buckle Up Podcast.